Thanks for listening to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, your reinvention queen. Hello and welcome to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arin.
Hello, and welcome again. Lovely Friday. A cup of tea with me, Dr. Z. I hope you've had a lovely Friday wherever you are around the world. We're just a little bit late today. Another week of technical problems. And to say that I'm supposed to be a woman in tech, but not to worry. We're here now, so you are welcome. I have a phenomenal guest waiting to descend upon you, and I mean that in the best possible way. She's going to descend upon you and show you how her voice has been able to amplify the message of trauma, on how to get through trauma. And before I go into that, I just want to tell you a little bit why I do this. Now, if you're a regular guest, you'll hear this every week. I do this, number one, it's a passion project, but it's also about spotlighting everyday women all over the world doing extraordinary things. And that means you, that means me. We are everyday women. It means taking off, the crowns that we like to wear to cover, to say, oh, we are this and we are that. And that's all amazing. But what is important is to be able to peel the onion and bring out the real us and really use our stories, our messages for someone else. You might be sitting down here, you might be in Australia, you might be in New Zealand, you might be in Papua New Guinea. I don't know why I'm talking about all that area. You might be somewhere in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago. You could be in Barbados, you could be in Nigeria, Ghana. You could be here in the UK, you could be in the US, wherever you are around the world. And it doesn't matter what time zone. I want you to know that you are amazing. I want you to know that you are phenomenal. I want you to know that you might feel that your voice has been unheard, but through our stories on this platform, you will see something that will resonate with you. I want you to know that you are enough. It doesn't matter what comes your way, you are enough. And someone somewhere is waiting for you to show up so that they can show up. And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I show up for some other people to show up. Sometimes, you're like, oh, I can't do this, like whatever that might be. And then you remember that someone's just waiting for someone just like me, just like you, to show up so that you can pull as many women with you as possible. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my amazing, phenomenal guest. I can't wait. I really can't. Really can't. Really can't. Amazing woman. Now, her name is Yvonne Michele. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let her tell you about herself, but I'll tell you a little bit. Now, she's a lovely woman, beautiful woman. She's got a beautiful voice. She's a survivor, and I'm not gonna, she's a survivor. Sorry, I couldn't help that. And I can see her in the green room laughing, and I can't even sing. But she's a survivor. She is the director and the founder of an amazing CIC called GEM, which stands for Global Empowerment Movement, and it's all about empowering women to share their voice, to get through trauma, to get through domestic abuse. But peeling the onion back, I'm going to tell you a bit about her, or I'm going to let her tell you about her, because I think it's even fairer if she does it herself. But I am just so blown away that she's actually on the show today. She's absolutely dedicated to providing specialized support, because that's what she needed at her time. And without further ado, if you don't know, this is episode 25, and it's called The Sound of Freedom: Unmasking Trauma Through the Gift of Song. Wow. Are you waiting? If you don't know her name is Yvonne Michele. The amazing, the phenomenal, the incredible Yvonne Michele. Yay.
Hey.
Oh my days. Thank you so much, Michele. Oh, let's call you Michele. Yvonne. You hear that all the time. hear that all the time. Michelle's a nice name as well, but it's not your name. So welcome, welcome, welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you so
I'm
much.
so pleased that you could actually make it. Really, really pleased. I know we kind of experienced a few technical hiccups, but we're here. So this is really, really great. Now, Michele, one of the things I love about your story is the fact that, I said it again, Michele. Yvonne!
It's okay. It's okay.
One of
Don't
the things.
stress yourself. It's okay. Both of mine. It's fine.
Breathe. So one of the things I love about your story, Yvonne, is the fact that you keep going in spite of. You
Yes.
show up in spite of. You show up because you show up, other people show up. There was someone I was speaking to the other day, and she sent me a message, oh my days, you've got Yvonne on your show. She's an absolute gem. And I said, yes, she is. And so I'm hoping that people are watching on YouTube or you're watching through LinkedIn, wherever you might be, just put it in the chat, put it in the comments where you're in from, and we'll take it from there. Now, my first question for you is, take us through a little bit about your story, just a little bit. Let's unpeel the onion a little.
Okay. So my journey started many years ago. When my mother passed away at the age of 11. So really, before that, I was just a regular little girl, happy, playing with my dolls and doing the things that 9, 10, 11-year-olds do. And then tragically and very suddenly, my mother passed away. And when she passed away on Mother's Day. So it was a very pivotal day. And as we know, as we get older, things can trigger us, and that was such a significant day. So, she died on Mother's Day, which was a Sunday. We'd had dinner, typical West Indian household, the big dinner on the Sunday. We went to church in the morning. My mother was a Christian woman. Went to church and we came home. We had dinner, and then she, ushered us off to Sunday school. In between Sunday school and the evening service, she had a heart attack and subsequently passed away. So that was really a difficult time for any child, really. So I'm one of 5 children. I am the 4th of 5 and the youngest girl. Wow. So my older 3 siblings were quite a few years older than me. So they were quite, they were like 19, 20, 21, still young, but they were significantly older and grew together. So myself and my younger brother, who was 4 when my mum died. So we became a unit, myself and my younger brother. Anyway, subsequently, in the time in which my mother passed away, typically in Black households, I'm going to say that in Black, Caribbean, African households, when someone dies, the house is full of people.
Yes.
Always full of people.
Yes.
In and out, food, drink. But in that time, a family member started to abuse me in that time. So not only had I lost my mother, then I was then being abused sexually as well. And it's something that I kept a secret for 44 years. I didn't speak about it. I tried not to acknowledge it, but it had a significant impact on my behaviour. My behaviour changed. So before my mother died, I used to go to Sunday school, used to go to church. I used to sing with the Sunshine Band. That's what we would call the junior choir. And I suppose when I was that age, I was known as this little person with a very big voice. So I'm not as small as I used to be, but I used to be quite a slight young lady. Yes,
it depends who's looking.
Well, that's very true. That's very, very true.
It depends who's looking.
It really does. So I stopped singing. I became quite insular. I would, not go to school. There was just so many different things going on. And at the time, living in our home, my father was there. He was present. He was there, but he wasn't present.
He was grieving.
So, at the time when I was a young person, I really felt angry towards my dad. There was a lot of anger because I needed him so much, and he was always there before my mum died. But when she died, it's like something in him died, to be fair. So a year passed, so I get to 12 now, and then we are then evicted out of our family home. And my dad, the day we are evicted, my dad disappears. So my dad's gone now. So the stability and everything that I was used to is gone. My older siblings they found other places to live, and I was taken to my aunt's house, myself and my brother, and we lived there for about 9 months. I didn't see my dad, didn't hear from my dad, which was very, very difficult. And again, my behaviour became even more.
Yes.
I suppose when I look back, I was depressed as a child because all my sense of stability had gone, and yet still I've got this younger brother that's looking to me to make things work.
Yeah.
You know, so you can imagine the turmoil that I felt as a young person and as a young woman. My body is starting to change. I'm going through puberty, and there is absolutely no one to talk to because back then children are not seen.
Yes.
And they're not heard. Do you know what I mean? Or they're seen but not heard, should I say? And so, you know, and you just get on with it. So I was at school, went to school, used to look after my brother, come home from school, and I just found myself going deeper and deeper and deeper into a depression. So moving forward 9 months, my dad turns up and my dad says, oh, you know, I've got somewhere for us to live. We're going to live. And we go and live in a woman's house. So this woman I'd never yet. Now, I've seen this woman before, but I can't remember where I've seen her before. And sometimes when you go through trauma, your memory, it just goes. You don't remember things. I think sometimes you shut down. Sometimes I think it's to protect. Well, I know it is to protect you. And so this woman, I knew I'd seen her before, but couldn't put my finger on it. And we went to live in her house. So there starts another trauma. Because as women, we know, and we only hope that if somebody has a child, you'd think that the person would open up their heart to that person, the child, and mother them and love them. But my dad's partner at the time wanted my dad. She didn't want
not
children.
Yes.
And so again, so my dad used to work nights. You know, he worked at Vauxhall's and he worked nights. And so when he'd gone to work, it was, you know, like I felt like I was Cinderella and I'd had to do all these different chores. And, you know, I don't know if you remember the steel wool that you have. You used to have these things to scrub the pots and
pots. Yes.
Yeah. Back in the day, you know, we have a thing called a Dutch pot. You know what a Dutch pot is, right?
Yeah.
And
we have
back in the day, Dutch pot was black, right? Like soot, black. She'd have me scrub it until it was silver, until my fingers would bleed.
Oh my God.
And these are the things that I endured. And I always remember saying to myself that, you know, if I ever got out, if I ever left, if I could ever leave, how different my life would be, you know. And I'm gonna tell you something as well, because I like to be open and I take the mask off when I do these interviews. There were times just before I left the house, and I left there when I was 15, I'd had enough. And I remember her, you know, doing all these things and saying these things and trying to get me into trouble with my dad. And I remember her making me make her a cup of tea. And I remember really reaching for my stomach and really harking, and I spat in that tea. And I gave it to her and I watched her drink it. Now, I know that's not a nice thing to say, but I was like 14 years old then. And I had had enough of the abuse and enough of, you know, not having a voice and being made to suffer. So I left home at 15. I lived on the street. I lived on the street for 3 days. It was 3 nights and 4 days to be exact. And until I found where my sister lived. I didn't know where she lived. I just knew that there was a high-rise flat And I went on a journey to find it and fought every night for my liberty, every night. So I've had, my childhood was traumatic, was difficult. But the one thing I learned was to fight and fend for myself. A year later, I gave birth to my first son. I had him at the age, well, I had him at the age of 16. So it takes 9 months to have a baby. And married at 19. So my son's father was and still is, should I say, a good man. And he saw a need. I struggled. When I say I struggled at home, things like personal hygiene, having sanitary products. I used to use my socks. I used to use newspaper because I had no money. And as I said, my dad was not present. And the woman that he lived with was not a particularly nice woman. So I struggled and I suffered as a young person. Having my son changed things because I then had another person to look after. Yeah. But I didn't want him to experience the things that I experienced. So I was unqualified, no qualifications, apart from CSE, because it wasn't GCSE, but it was CSE, PE. I was very quick, very agile, very good at sports. And I managed to get that one qualification. I then started working as a hairdresser, doing plaits and weaves. And the reason, I'll tell you this, because everything has a reason and everything has a purpose.
Yeah, that's right.
We think that life throws curveballs at us, but sometimes it helps us. And one of the things that I struggled with as a young person when my mother died was my hair. My hair was jacked up. I couldn't do my hair, didn't know how to do it, because my mum always did it.
Yes.
And when I was at school, they used to take the mick out of me. They used to call names. And that because my hair was just unsightly. I'd have to say that, unsightly. I actually saw a picture of myself at my aunt's house. And it wasn't too bad then, I suppose. It wasn't too bad, but why my hair wasn't good. Anyway, so I learned to do hair. I learned to do my hair. And as a result of that, a few years later, I was working in a salon, just doing plaits, and one day the owner said, can I help her out doing some other blow drying? And I'd watched her many, many times, and I said I'd really love to do that. And I took my time and I did my first blow dry with the brush on afro hair. Hair. Yeah, wow. On afro. Back in the day, we didn't use the comb, comb it through. Wow. No, it was the brush.
Wow.
That was a technique I learned. And she said to me, and I always like to call her name, my name's Donna Hilsden, and she still lives in Luton, and I always call her name because she said to me, I think you should go to college because you'd be really good at hairdressing. Wow. And I did.
So someone suddenly believed in you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Saw that one thing that I did, and I'm telling you, Zena, I was sweating. My clothes were dripping. It took me long to do that blow dry, but it was really good. So she encouraged me to go to college, and she said, if I go to college, she would give me a job. And I went to college and I did European and Afro hair in 1 year. I studied at night and day, got my qualification and started to work for her. I worked for her for 5 years and then I opened my own salon.
Wow.
So that was the beginning of me on my journey.
Yeah, evolving. If you're just joining, welcome again to A Cup of Tea with me, Dr. Zee. We have the phenomenal, sensational, incredible Yvonne Michele with us tonight. And if you need to listen, if you're just joining, you need to listen to the replay. She has taken us, it's one question so far, so you haven't missed a lot, but you've missed a lot. You've missed her life from the age of about 6 till 20, really, and lots of things that have happened. Tonight's show We're talking about the sound of freedom, unmasking trauma through the gift of song. One of the key things that you've said, there's so many things, and there will be people that are listening right now, or people that will listen on the replay, or we might know people. There are people who are in prison right now for exactly what you have experienced. You know this in the line of work that you do. People that have had enough, women that have had enough. In fact, in a few weeks' time, we're going to be doing the 16 days of activism for, VOG, violence against women and young girls. And we talk about this all the time, but everywhere you go, there are survivors. Some people don't talk about it at all. Some people have completely removed it from their memory. And maybe you know people and then they act in a certain way and you're thinking, why are they acting like this? You don't know their story. You don't know where they've come from. Can you imagine, Yvonne, you just spat in her tea, but you could have stabbed her.
Yeah.
You could have poisoned her. You could have done 1001 things and you would have been the person that would have been called to book. Not her.
Yeah.
So, and as you were saying that, I remember the story. I remember Roots years ago when I first watched it, and you're about my age, a little bit younger than me. And I remember that scene where Kizzy, she was now much older. So this was the amazing Cicely Tyson of memory. And Kizzy had now met her, the lady that she used to look after when she was a child, and they were friends. But then, they hate, and then she asked her for a cup of tea, and I will offer you tea. I haven't offered you tea. That's really rude of me. I hope you've got your cup. But anyway, there's a scene where she said, "Okay, yes, madam, I'll get you some tea or get you some water from the well." So she went to the well, got her some water, and gave it to her. So these things happen, but in that. Although you might feel, and people hearing might think, oh my days, it's horrible. Not really, because that was what you needed at that time, and it still protected you. At least we're here now talking
about it. Yeah.
You in your line of work, as you show up, you've saved so many other women and young girls. In some of the things that I do, it's the same thing. People that have no one to speak for them. People that feel that they are dirty, they are unclean. When you were talking about the story, the sanitary story, being unhygienic, we see people, they smell, they look funny. When we judge them, we don't know. We have no idea where they have come from, what their story is, And so when you were talking about, I'm a mom of two daughters, 26 and 23, and I'm a single mom. I remember when I got divorced, but I could never have left them. They call me a helicopter mom right now. When they listen to this, they're like, "Mom, go away, leave me alone," sort of thing. But I know the love of a mother, even mothers that feel that they have no maternal instinct. When you have your own, you really want to do all you can to protect. And as a child, you look up to your mom. I remember, I don't swear. Well, my children say you swear once a year when you're really angry, but I don't swear. And I remember when my kids were really young, especially my oldest daughter who's 26, and I used to tell her things like "shut up" or swearing. Don't say "shut up." Don't say "I hate you." Those words are not good. When you say hate, it means that you want them to die. When you say "shut up," it's really rude. I forgot that she's going to go to primary school, and someone told her to shut up and get away, you black this, that, and she burst into tears and she told the teacher that, oh, so-and-so swore at me. And the teacher said, what did she say? Well, she told me to shut. Don't be silly, Jade. That's not swearing. And suddenly my daughter came home devastated. I had lied as far as she was concerned. You said this was a swear word, and I've told the teacher that this girl swore at me. Because what it is that when you're a child, your mother is the Bible.
Yes.
If your mother says, it doesn't work when they're much older, but if your mom says stand, you stand.
You stand, yeah.
If she says sit, so I can imagine when you were just weaving that story of a mom doing, and for all the years I've known you, your hair is always on point. 1,000% on point. I love hair. I love hair, always on point. I'm always doing all sorts of things with my hair. I like blonde hair and I keep it natural now. But your hair's always on point. But when you were talking about that story of your mom always doing your hair, you never had to think about it.
Never.
And then suddenly she's gone. And then on the day, it could have been night, it could have been, but during that period of time, during the funeral, you were abused.
Yeah. And the significant thing is that the abuse stopped when we were evicted. So it was a bittersweet kind of eviction because I'd lost my home and I'd lost everything that I had held dear. I was a blanket baby, and I had a blanket up until that time. I'd had a blanket from the day I was born up until the day we were evicted, because the blanket was in the house and the house was locked up. That was it. It was gone. But that was the thing that stopped the abuse, being evicted.
And you imagine, and just thinking about that, we say this all the time, but it's important to say this again, that typically abuse happens, especially when it's with regards to children, child abuse. It happens to people that know you. It's perpetrated by people that know you. So it could be a dad, it could be a mother, it could be a brother, it could be a sister, it could be your dad's friend, your mom's friend. Yeah. It's always someone, it could be someone in church, for those of us that go to church.
Yes.
I mean, I was it's so funny, as you're not funny, haha, but as you're sharing these stories, I'm just remembering all the kind of paranoia that I had as a single mom in church. I was always like, I used to say to my children, if I'm in the main service, you need to be in the main service.
Yes.
I don't want you on the foyer. I don't want you in children's church. You have to be where I am. And I remember they hear this, they'll laugh. Whereas we're getting into church, I'm like, Mum, we're late. I said, I don't care whether we're late. The first thing we do, we're praise and worship. I don't care about praise and worship. First thing, everyone, we're going straight to the toilets first. Everyone, as a group, go to the toilet and then we sit down. You ain't leaving for no reason. I know my youngest daughter, she's on holiday in Texas at the moment. She would say, Mom, I really want to go. I'm like, you need to do it there. You need to do it there. You need to do it. I'm a Nigerian parent. You need to do it there. You need to do it there. You're not moving. You need to, I told you before. You need to do it, because I was just so paranoid that as a single mom, because you're right, when there is vulnerability, whether you're a woman, a child, a man, when there is vulnerability, they prey on you.
They do. It's like vultures. They just
prey on you, and they prey on you, and it could be in the church, it could be out. It doesn't matter where it is, but where there are perpetrators, they prey on you when they see a vulnerability. So I was so petrified. So I can hear, exactly the pain in which and I've heard this story before, but the pain as you're talking about it is just taking me back to all sorts of things that I was afraid of. Thank you for sharing that. And I can I'm peeling the onion here. Now I want to talk about authenticity, because you're one of the most authentic women I know. I remember when I sent you a message on WhatsApp ages ago. It was just a quick, oh hi, how are you? And before I knew, we scheduled this in, and which was amazing. But I just want to talk about authenticity, because I want to sort of touch on, in your experience, in your life, how does the role of being authentic, how does it play in your life, as a speaker, as a singer, especially when it comes to helping other people unmask their own trauma? And I know you wrote a book about this anyway, but does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, authenticity for me is about honesty. It's about being yourself. And I think if you're not yourself, you actually put up barriers for other people. So in terms of the clients that I have and the people that I work with, transparency is key. Yes. Authenticity is key, because I can only be me. Yes. I can't be anyone else. And I spent 44 years faking it. Well, 44 years, because it took me 44 years. Let's say 33 then, from the age of 11. Let's say so from the age of 11 up until 44, that's 33 years if I've done my maths correctly.
Yep.
And I spent all that time wearing a mask. So much so that my ex-husband now,
the nice man,
yes, always asks me, and he said, did something happen to you? He would always ask every so often, and I'd be like, no, walls up, all the walls, all the barriers have come up. And it did me no good. No good at all. And so this is the reason why I believe in authenticity and transparency. What you see is what you get. If you don't like me, I feel business.
I like that. I
I
like.
like me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm just looking at what people are saying here. I love that. It's really important that we show up as our real self, because you're absolutely correct. When you do that, you break down, barriers, you break down gates, and you let people in, but you also help other people to be themselves as well. And
Absolutely.
especially when you're working in any sort of support work where you're supporting lives. And if you're listening right now, wherever you are around the world, or if you listen to this on the replay or when it gets uploaded onto Spotify, and you don't see our lovely faces, you just listen, wherever it is, it's important to understand that no matter what you might feel about your life, it's really important to show up as you.
That's right.
Don't show up as anybody else. Don't show up as in the way that you feel that people want you to be. Don't be a people pleaser. And I am a people pleaser, so I know when I say this, don't do things because you want people to like you, or because you're used to being liked. Remember that you have a responsibility to someone else. And people are like, oh, Zena, stop saying this, Dr. Zena. I'm just trying to get through my life. But really, you have a responsibility. If you're really passionate, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a care worker, a hairdresser, it doesn't matter. If you work with people, whether you work for Transport for London, on the train, wherever it is, on the bus, if you work with people, and we all work with people, you have a responsibility to show up as yourself, because when you do that, other people can open up and you can help them. I like when you spoke earlier on, and you were talking about, being in the hairdresser.
Yeah.
And just doing that one act of blow drying someone's hair. This is a woman that came out of school with no qualifications, not because she's not bright, but because there was no one there to support her. There was no dad, no mum.
Mm-hmm.
And so she did the best that she could, and she survived. You survived on those streets.
Absolutely.
3 years, you survived.
Yes.
I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about. I was singing "I'm a Survivor," and I said,
Yeah, I survived, and I can smile about it now, and I can hold my head up high, and I can look myself in the mirror. There are so many women who have gone through, and I say this, they're women and men, right? But I predominantly work with women, even though men seem to be coming into my network. But I really believe that you have to be yourself 100%. We go through so much as women, and we put on this mask and we pretend, and we're even told, fake it until you make it, but actually just be you. Just be you. I mean, I did an event the other day called the Summer Soiree, and I now am using a lot of music in what I do in terms of helping survivors and victims of abuse and trauma. And there was a lady that reached out to me via somebody else. So this lady was in a park in a completely different town called Bedford, and she met somebody who was an artist painting, and she started talking about her life and how she's scared to do lots of things, and so the lady that was with her said, I think I know somebody that could help you, and gave her my details. She didn't contact me straight away, but eventually she did. And she contacted me via Messenger. And she said she's afraid. She's afraid to speak. She's afraid to use her voice. So much trauma had happened in her life. And so because she said those things, I sent her a voice note. Now, if you know me, if anybody know me, I'm a voice note queen. I'd rather send you a voice note than to type it. I'll type, but I'm more on the phone. I'm giving you the message. And I asked her, I said, when you respond, can you respond with a voice note, please? And I did that to test her. I wanted to see how scared she was. And she sent back a message by text, and I said, voice note. You know, it's easier for me. She did. She sent it back by a voice note. And we then started to converse. I invited her to the summer soiree. Now, I did an open mic section, and she said she's never really sang in front of anybody. She does sing at home, you know, and I said to her, what, you know, I encouraged her and we talked through it, and everything's going on in the night. But I just took the time for her because I saw something in her. And I'm telling you something, this woman went up on stage and she tore the house down. Amazing. She sang, I've got the music in me. I had a live band, they played the music. I'm telling you, I was absolutely blown away. So we're now working together and I'm helping her. But the power of your voice is so key. And as women, we get shut down. We feel that we can't speak. We feel like our voices don't mean anything. But I'm here today to tell every woman how important their voice is. Your voice is what sets you free. I held my voice for 33 years. And as soon as I opened my mouth, my life completely changed. And now I'm walking in my destiny. And now I'm helping other people to find the power of their voice. Because there is greatness within each and every one of us. But we just need to tap in and find that little voice there. And you don't have to have a big voice, you just have to have a whisper. But with the whisper, we can do something with it.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm trying not to get emotional here. You know, I when I do these shows, and even though, you know, like I said, I do this because I'm really passionate about, I like to give, you know, for people to hear their stories, because many people are hearing their stories through what we share here. We share all sorts of things. Each week it's different, but someone always has something and they hear that they can take forward that can really help them. And you touched on it. Fear. There's fear of failure. There's fear of being judged. There's fear of shame. There's fear of guilt.
Yes.
You know, fear is so crippling. And when you see someone that looks like you or has experienced something similar to you, it gives you that impetus to move forward. It gives you that push, that pull that you need. Everyone needs someone to drag them forward. We all do. You know, you might feel that, oh, I don't need anyone. Well, you may feel you don't need anyone. Someone needs you.
Mm-hmm.
You might feel that I'm too dirty, I'm too rubbish, I've gone through horrible things, I'm a horrible person. Maybe you've done things that you are ashamed of. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's where you are now. And I'm not going to take it to church. But if I take it to church, you've been forgiven. You've been washed by the blood.
Right.
You've been washed by the blood. So don't let anybody tell you differently. And this is whether you believe or not.
Amen.
Whether you believe or not, you are here today. You are alive today because somebody is counting on you to be transparent. Someone's counting on you to be authentic. Someone's counting on you to be a woman of integrity. Someone's counting on you to be a woman of power, to drag someone else. And like Yvonne said, it doesn't have to be a loud voice. You don't have to be like me. You know, it could be a whisper. Some people just need a gentle whisper.
Whisper, that's it.
You know, there'll be some people that will see someone like me and they're like, oh no, I can't take Dr. Zee. She's all over the place. She's too loud. Oh, they might see someone, oh, I like someone that's really nice and quiet and mousy. Whatever your voice is, show up, show up, show up. Mm-hmm. You know, when you, oh wow, you know, like I said, and I don't know, you said it. We do things without actually understanding why we are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What I do, just to let you guys into a little secret, we don't script these shows in any way or form. I don't script. I don't send questions ahead. I don't do any of that. And when I have a guest on the show, I kind of figure out what I feel will be helpful for the listeners. You know, I look a little bit at your story, but I really want to pick out something. And this is quite amazing that we're doing it now, because every time at this time of year, this is where they start talking about, violence against, women and girls. We've got stuff in the news, we've got Diddy and all the things in the news, which, I'm not going to talk about here. If you want to know, it's all over the place. but it's like the life of a woman counts for Jack. You know, on the news this morning, I was listening to something about Mohammed Al Fayed, you
Yes.
know, the owner of Harrods,
Yeah.
and the Ritz. I mean, obviously he died, you know, a couple of years, I think last year, I think, or the year before, at the age of 90. But so many women are coming to the fore to say that they were abused by him sexually. Some people at as young as 18. First, you know, so these are real things that are happening, and we don't talk about these things. So it's really, really, I'm really grateful that you're on the show, Yvonne, and I'm kind of grateful that it's taken this kind of angle, because it was not planned. It was not planned. Another question I have, you know, for you is, we've talked about you've talked a little bit about your show, your journey. And if you've just joined, I really need to let you know, listen to the replay. I always forget to talk about the replay. I need to do this more, but listen to the replay. You'll see it on YouTube. If you can't wait for when it gets uploaded to Spotify, watch the replay, because you need to hear the beginning of her story. You need to hear the beginning of her story. Now, we talked about how you've unpeeled the onion, you've unveiled the mask, you've, after 44 years, I think you
33.
said
I was 44 when I spoke it, so it's 33 years of carrying the secret.
After 33 years of carrying this secret, she was now finally able to unburden herself, release the mask. She's written about it, she's been into it all over, you know, social media. And I want to know, how has unveiling your trauma and sharing your story, how has it opened doors for you? I know it's opened doors for you in many ways, unexpected ways, both professionally and, you know, personally. And I want you to share a little bit about that.
It's opened many doors for me. I think sharing my story, I think the most significant thing for me is the lives that I've actually helped to turn around, the victims who have gone through, whether it's domestic abuse or sexual abuse, bereavement even. My story has given me so much scope to travel the world, to talk to. I've been all over the world. I've been to Ghana, I've been to Barbados, I've been throughout the Caribbean, telling my story, and sharing stages with great people, speaking on the things that I love to speak on. So, but that didn't happen when I had the mask on. I was still doing stuff. I don't want people to think, oh, it's because I've said. There is a journey that we have in life, and sometimes we look at our past and we don't want to tell anybody about it. We want to just cover that up, but actually the past is what shapes us.
Yes.
And my background is church. That is my background. And so when people say, oh, you know, you speak like this, and my background is church. So when I was going to church as a little girl, and they would say, come and give an exhortation, come and say your testimony, come up, a little girl, come up and sing a song, just like that. And on the spur of the moment, you would just have to find something, swallow hard, and just stand there and try and sing or deliver. So the journey has been long. It don't happen overnight. But what I will say in terms of my story, because of the authenticity and because I am very transparent about it, that's what's opened the doors for me. That's what's given me platforms like Britain's Got Talent and all of these other things that I've done, the TV shows that I've done. It's me being transparent and saying, this is what it is. This is who I am. And I'm not changing to suit you, because this is who I am. I have to show up authentically me, because I lived those 33 years not being me and hiding and covering. And when you hide and cover, there's something in you it's almost like you're having palpitations.
Yes.
That's how it felt, because you're scared that people are going to find out who you really are. But if you're just who you really are, then there's nothing for them to find out. No one can't hold you to ransom. No one can't hold me to ransom and tell me anything. This is who I am. Yeah, that happened. Yes, I was abused. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that happened. Yes, I was married. Yes, I've had domestic abusive relationship. I've been in a domestic abusive relationship. Yes, I've been raped. Yes, 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 yes.
And
One of the,
so,
and so what?
yes, absolutely.
I'm still standing by the grace of God, and that is very pivotal. By the grace of God and the prayers of my mother. And I will say this because as a little girl, she used to rub me. Bless her, Lord. As I walked past, I was just running up and down. She just rubbed me, and I would just pay no mind to it. But as I've got older and I reflect back on the small memories that I have of her, that's what I remember. And I said, that's the prayer. My mum was saying, Lord bless her, keep this one. It's almost like she knew, keep this one, because the life has been hard. There's been lots of trauma, lots and lots of trauma. I lost my son as well. As my son passed away 26, 27 years, 27 years ago. My son passed away, and that was another trauma that I went through. And I would say that one nearly took my mind. But you know what? Again, by the grace of God and by prayer and supplication unto God, that's what I have to say. Because when that happened, I wasn't in God's hands as such. I was living my life, my best life. You know what I want to live my best life?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
party hard. Yeah, yeah. Like, I was living my best life. And that brought me to my knees. That brought me to my knees. And these are the things that I share. I don't hide my story. And I'm not ashamed of my story. The shame has gone. The shame is on the perpetrator.
That's right.
The
That's
shame is
right.
not on me.
That's right. It's been nailed on the cross. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I hold it up and I'm saying, this is who I am. And this is what I've been through. And this is what it's made me. And I
This,
tell those stories. And
this
that's
is
it.
what I've gone through in spite of. This is who I am in spite of. These are the platforms around the world that I've been able to be upon in spite of, not because I'm here to say, oh, look at me, but because I know that my story is someone else's glory. I like to say that all the time. Because you show up, other people are able to show up, some in bigger ways, many in smaller ways. People just listen and they're like, oh my days, oh my days, I just listened to Yvonne. Oh my days, oh my days. And they'll start looking for you on YouTube. They'll try to reach out. Oh my days, help me, help me, help me. And someone's just said, she's just been on for, I'm just looking at the comments. I need to shout out. Thank you so much, Jules from London. Thank you, Anne from Essex. Thank you, Inchido from Hull, I think. Thank you. Oh, I'm trying to see this because I should shout out. I've just been so engrossed in what you've been talking about, Yvonne. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Charlene, Bless Girl, all the way from the US. I think that is Dr. Nana, I think. Wow. Cambridge. Thank you, Annie from Cambridge. Wow. Thank you for all your comments. Please, not just the comments. I hope there's stuff that you can take away for yourself or for people that you know. Oh, Simone. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow. Well, sorry, I'm getting carried away with all the comments. But thank you so much for listening, for showing up, and please share the replay. But also, I hope this gives you the impetus to share your story, to come up as your real self, warts and all. When I remember when I first started speaking years and years ago, and one of the things I was taught was, if you have an impediment, whatever that might be, for some people it might be they spit. Oh God forbid, I hate that. But maybe they spit while they speak. Sorry if you happen to know me. And we've been on the same platform. I'm sorry, but maybe you speak, or maybe you've got a strong accent. For those of us that maybe you're not from England or America, or you might have an accent, and it might be really, really strong. But your accent's not strong where you're from. It's only strong where you live. And so you feel there are many people that don't speak because they're so embarrassed about their accent. Oh, I better not speak because I speak funny. No, you don't speak funny. You don't speak funny. It just sounds, because it's you're in a different, wherever it is, it's important for you to know that show up, show up, show up. And then you can talk about the elephant in the room. So you're on stage, wherever you might be, in the doctor's surgery, wherever you might be. Oh, I spit when I speak. So the reason why I don't, it's not me. But I spit when I speak. So if there's a whole like 2 or 3 rows, because people come and they come late and they're like, oh, I want to sit at the front. I'm one of those. I want to sit at the front. And you're wondering why they've left all those seats in the front reserved. It's been reserved because the speaker spits or the pastor spits, and you don't want to be, whatever it is, I mean, we're just making jest of this, but whatever the elephant in the room is, talk about the elephant. I've been raped. I've been abused. I'm a single mom. I'm a single dad. I'm bankrupt. Whatever it is, I'm homeless. Whatever it is, say, and then no one can use it to attack you.
That's right.
No one can use it to attack you, because what it is that when things are hidden, when there's secrecy, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You're stuck, and that thing, whatever it might be, has power over you. But once you're able to talk about it immediately, no one else can say it. It's like my mom would say, and so, so yeah, that, oh Lord, I don't want you to leave, and I'm just looking at the time. For those people that are still wearing their masks, Michele, and I say this all the time, Yvonne.
Yeah, it's Yvonne, Michele.
For those who are still wearing their masks, their own, whatever that might be, due to trauma, what advice would you give them on how they can begin that journey of healing and amplifying their voice?
I would say the one thing that I would do is get real with myself. I'm not saying to go and seek help anyway. It's one of the things that I did, and one of the things that I know that's very difficult for people who wear a mask to do, is to look at themselves in the mirror. And it's a fact that it takes only 7 seconds for you to look at the mirror and look away. Or no, sorry, let me rephrase that. You look in the mirror, it only takes 7 seconds for you to find an issue with what you see. So I say to women, just sit with yourself for 10 seconds. Just 10. You will hear, oh, I've got a spot, oh, I've got a this, or you'll hear that, but just dismiss it.
You see that? Yeah.
Another wrinkle. Or,
my belly, my
chin.
My chin.
We do these things.
Yeah.
And I would say to that person, just see you and say, I like you today. Not I love you. You got to start somewhere. I like you today. And then just keep it moving and keep doing that every day. The reason why I say that is because many women don't even know themselves, don't know what they're capable of. They don't have a relationship with themselves. And everything, and this is something that I teach in my workshops, everything starts with me, meaning everything starts with you. Those of you who are listening, everything in your life starts with you. It doesn't start with anybody else. It starts with you. Yeah. You are the most important person in your life. You will always be the most important person in your life, even when you've got children. Yeah. You are the most important person in your life. And to get anywhere in your life, you have to acknowledge and accept you.
Yeah.
Nothing will change for you until you start doing. And it only takes a 2 millimeter shift. It's not a big thing. It's not a big thing. We think, oh, that's too big. It's a shift of 2 millimeters of how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself. That's all it is. I like myself today. Work on that every day, until you start to grow to like yourself more and more and more, until you can say, I love myself. I love you. See you? I love you. You're good. You're good. That was really good what you did. I'm patting you on the back. Just little things, milestones. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And as women, we don't do that enough. We're looking for this big, like lightning bulb of someone coming to save us, to be our rescue. You are your own rescue. Let me tell you that.
Save yourself.
are your own rescue. No
That's
one
right.
ain't coming to rescue you. You
Yeah.
got to rescue yourself. That's
Yeah.
what I learned from the 11-year-old girl to the so much age I am now. Right? I've learned that I am my rescue. My kids can't rescue me. My family can't rescue me. My man can't rescue me. Nobody apart from
Yes.
me. And
Yes.
through the power of the Holy Spirit. Let me tell you,
Absolutely.
believe or not, the power of the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
That's my
Absolutely.
answer to your question.
You
Yeah.
know, I just feel like we need another show. I need to bring you back, but because there's so many different things to unpack here, so many different things, so many different themes. And you're right, no one can rescue you. You have to be prepared to rescue. So, people can pray for you.
Yeah.
People can give you money. People can tell you all the things you want to hear. They on the phone, but once they put the phone down, you're by yourself. You're by yourself. And so you have to get into the habit of trusting your decisions. Even if you get it wrong, you trust it, make a decision and come back and do something else. But you have, you keep, shall I do this? Shall I do this? If you speak to 10 different people, 10 different people will give you 10 different words of advice. And it's confusing. It's confusing. So you have to be your own advocate. You have to really invest in self-advocacy. Advocate for yourself. On the aeroplane, they say this all the time, and I never get my head like,
Yeah.
if there's a problem on the plane, the mask will come down. I never listen to this, but this is, but the mask will come down. But that part, and pull it on yourself before you put it on your children. Pull it on yourself before you pull it on your man. Pull it on yourself before you pull it on your best friend. Pull it on before you pull it on your mum, your dad, whoever. Pull it on because you can't pour from an empty cup. We say this all the time. You can't. When you're pouring from an empty cup, you're basically giving people very little. You're not giving them all that you need to give them. And sometimes you might be saying, Dr. Zena, I haven't got much to give. And that's fine. Incremental steps. Years ago, 2012, we were doing a massive multi-speaker summit on divorce, because obviously another part of my life, I'm a divorce coach, I'm a leadership, all sorts of things, but that's not what we're talking about right now. And I remember one lady came on and she talked about being able to get out of bed and get a bar of soap and go into the shower and actually take a shower. So you might be listening right now and you probably, maybe you haven't showered. Maybe, you can't, you just feel crippled because of all the different things that are coming at you. Cost of living, whatever it is. I don't know your story. Maybe you've lost your job. Maybe you've lost your mind. I don't know what your story is. And perhaps you don't even have a story. And there's somebody else's story that you're supporting. But what I'm saying is that like Yvonne has said, incremental steps. Just do that little thing. Begin to fall in love with you, like you first. Take yourself out, go to the cinema, go for a drink, go to a restaurant. If you can't afford something bougie, go to McDonald's and just sit down and watch people come with their children, on that day out. It's that day out when they have a custody of the children, whatever it is. But take yourself out. Do things learn to enjoy your own company. Learn to really stick up for you, because no one else is people will stick up for you, but you need to stick up for you more than everyone else. You really do. You can't depend, because what it's like. Oh, I called so and so and they didn't help me. And now help me. You say all this, but start by helping yourself. And there's an amazing song, and I wish I could play it, but I'm not allowed to because it'll get taken off on YouTube. But one of my favorite songs of all time, and I've got loads, is a song by Anthony Brown. And I'm sure you know Anthony Brown and Therapy, called Enough. I play in almost all my live events. You are enough. And I want you to know you are enough. You really are enough. And I have to do this. I'm going to be cheeky. And I did warn Yvonne that I'm going to do this.
No, you're not.
And she said she's tired. She said her tiredness is nothing compared to my crackety voice. So I'm going to ask her. And ask her live so she can't say no. But she might say no. Please, can you sing a little bit? Just a little bit. Just a little. Pretty please.
There's a song that I sing often. It's kind of like a trademark, I suppose, nowadays. And it talks about having something inside of you that's really strong and that you can make it. It's from the 60s, 70s, I believe. And it's something inside so strong. And so I am not going to sing much of it because my throat is very tired. However, I will do a little bit for you to see.
I'm a spoilt brat, I know.
But before I sing, I just want to say that whoever's listening, and whether you are listening live or you are on the replay, I want you to know that there is something in you that is great and that you are called to greatness. You are a great person. And don't hide or dim your light, because somebody, doesn't matter when you listen, you can listen to this next year. This might be 2025, 2027, doesn't matter. You're going to meet somebody that needs to hear your voice, hear your story. And I want you to remember that you're light, and let your light shine so that they can let their light shine, because that's what this is about. It's about us helping each other, lifting each other, and inspiring and empowering each other. So that's my message. So, the higher you build your barrier, the taller I become. The faster you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away, no matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, there's something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. There you go. Something in you. Let it shine.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you. God bless you so much. And I am bringing you back. I'm saying it now. Saying it now. Saying it now. I mean, this is the time has gone so quickly. Has gone so quickly. But thank you so much. I love you. I love the work that you do. I love your voice. I love the way that you show up. I love the way that you are so generous with your time, with your expertise, and with the way that you are so passionate about helping other people. And I echo the words of, there's lots of things in the comment. Oh, very powerful in authenticity. Oh, wow. And I just echo the word. I'll just tell you, this lovely lady, I know you know her, Pamela.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Pamela was like, oh my days, you got Yvonne coming on. She's a gem. And so I don't know whether she's watching, or she might be watching somewhere. But I just want you to know that I agree 100%. You are a pure gem. You know, you are a diamond in an earthen vessel. You're so precious, and we are so blessed to have you on the show. But I'm so blessed to have you as my sister and as my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, my days. Thank you guys for listening, for watching, wherever it is you are around the world. This has been a cup of tea with me, Dr. Z. I didn't drink much of this tea, and I forgot to even pour some for. So I've asked her to sing. I've done all this thing and she's parched. I didn't even give her any tea. But anyway. But thank you so much. Until next time on a cup of tea, with Dr. Z, like we've said, show up, because there's so much in you that is so strong. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you
for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, your reinvention queen. We hope you've been motivated and inspired to go out there and conquer any obstacles and issues you may face. You can find Dr. Zena on all social platforms. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.